Jan Pospisi, who's a Sudan affairs analyst and associate professor of peace, conflict resolution and social relations at Coventry University in the UK. Welcome to you, Jan. Is this a fight now for the capital, Khartoum, beyond just the presidential palace?
It definitely is. And as we've heard before, RSF suffers some real challenges with the supply lines in Khartoum, which is the main reason also why they're at the moment definitely losing ground. They're not giving in, as we've also heard from RSF statements. They want to fight back, so they are not really prepared to give Khartoum away. But definitely the presidential palace is one point, but the fight and the battle for Khartoum isn't over.
Is there a massive strategic advantage from controlling Khartoum?
Well, it is a political advantage first and foremost, because I think one of the plans that SAF has is in a way to more legitimize their own rule. So there was always talks to announce a technocratic government at one point, or bring General Burhan more into the second row. They can't do this from Port Sudan legitimately, really. So getting Khartoum back as the capital would raise the profile of SAF quite significantly.
The gains that we've seen the Sudanese army make in the last few days, are these just part of the ebbs and flows of a conflict? Could we see those easily reversed, or is this a trend that the army is now getting the upper hand in this war?
Well, as we've heard before, the SAF has definitely made two sorts of gains. First of all, they got quite significant manpower by mobilizing Islamist militias. They will be difficult to control in the long run, as they will have their own interests and they will push the army leadership in quite some ways, but it gave them more manpower, particularly in their fight for Khartoum, and they got weapons. And the Turkish drones have been quite significant advantages that the army got also in Darfur, by the way. So they got stronger. It is, though, I would still think ebbs and flows. It's not decided at all that even Khartoum goes to SAF. We'll see how it goes on. It's very difficult to predict at the moment, though at the moment SAF has, especially in central Sudan, the upper hand.
I remember about a year ago presenting a programme on what was happening in Sudan, and back then it was being described by experts as the worst humanitarian catastrophe that was happening on the planet, that we were on the verge of mass famine, and that the suffering there was beyond comprehension. Is there anything being done internationally? Is the international community coming in to help these people? Because if it's happening, I'm not hearing about it.
The situation is difficult on various fronts. First of all, and this has to be raised, the SAF is still not really clearing humanitarian aid to come into the country. They would always say, oh, RSF is taking that, RSF is taking that. But SAF also loots themselves the few things that come into the country. So they are, to an extent, both parties are to a large extent responsible for not enough aid coming in. And then there is, with the recent US aid cuts, massive implications on the finances. There was always a discussion of life-saving aid being ring-fenced, Sudan being ring-fenced. But what we see at the moment is incredible challenges for WFP and other agencies to get food aid really there. And together with the logistical challenges and the political challenges posed by both parties, it looks really bleak.
When you're talking about such mass-scale human suffering, why are none of the major powers getting involved? Is it because there's just nothing in it for them, geopolitically?
Well, it's even getting further than that, I would think. There is quite a lot in for them for not upsetting the UAE. And the UAE are the major supporter of the RSF. So none of the major international powers are really having an incentive to raise the humanitarian issues. There's some support from Turkey, from China for SAF. There's the clear support from UAE for the RSF, but especially Western countries. You have to say the UK really tries to do something, and they're the pen holder at the Security Council. But most initiatives there get blocked by other veto powers at the Security Council. So it's just a very difficult political situation.
Jan, thank you so much for coming on and giving us the benefit of your expertise. Jan Pospisi is a Sudan affairs analyst. He joins me from the UK.